Hello, welcome back to Reliquia Park. We're about reaching the end of the game now, I think. We're gonna be going through the very last section of the puzzle. Actually, now that it's unsaved, I think it might have been a mistake to have solved the first puzzle in the pylon secret. But it's okay. I'm gonna retype in the code. It's 1019Y. That should be it. Alright, so yeah, we only have 3 more to go. Just have to resolve this one. I've kind of forgot how I would resolve this one. It's like a triple, right? I don't remember what I did. It was like this. This? No. It's the other way around. I know it's opposite. Like, I think I remember it being opposite sides. So this one goes below. Yeah. Yep. Wait, no, no. That's not right. Is it the other way around? I've forgotten. It is the other way around. Alright. Cool. Next. Yeah, this is the issue. This is the one I couldn't resolve. The premise of this puzzle is very simple, but actually getting the solution is not. So you have this little area here that you can't actually do anything about. And essentially it is a portal which requires 4 outputs in each of the 4 different directions. Hitting those 4 outputs will simply give you... it will solve the puzzle. But you need to be able to branch and rotate your signal coming out of here in just the right way to hit all 4 of these. And with 3 branches you can theoretically make 4. You could make a bit more, I think, by putting a branch back into its own signal, its own cell. But I do know that doing that will require 3 other components, so suppose that actually did happen. Does it help us or does it not help us? I'm not even sure. Should I attempt to draw a solution for this? I'm also not sure. Because I tried and I don't think I can find a legitimate solution that works. So I don't know. Whoa. That was weird. Oh yeah, there was no music. Did the music just cut out and then like it suddenly came back? I'm confused. So how do I do this? How in the world? I think this is just a really daunting premise is why I'm really scared of it. But you know, it appears that in terms of the different blocks we have 4 of the clockwise rotators and 2 of the anti-clockwise rotators, and then we have 3 branches. So these are the 4 things that we have. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm just thinking of a plausible solution here. Oh, my bad, sorry. I was busy. Okay. Back though. I'm trying to visualize this solution once again. I think I might see something. Basically, it does involve putting something back on itself, but the problem is that this sort of requires a lot more branches. Also, is the music always cutting out? What's going on? No, it's just a very quiet section of the music. Alright, my bad. How to make... if I can... the strength of a signal doesn't matter, right? So two signals going in the same direction doesn't actually give you a second signal in that same direction. So, yeah, so... Sending something back on itself though is very interesting of an idea to me. I guess the best thing we can do is just play around until we find something that, you know, gives us any hint of how to begin. If I simply put three of these side by side, what does that give us? This gives us a lot of ups here, a lot of up here, a down here, and a down there. Does that help? Well, it might. It might help, I guess. But I'm not sure if, you know, we can hit an accurate number in time. Yeah, I don't think we can hit an accurate number in time, honestly. I don't think we hit four corners at the same time with this setup. With 6 pivots. I think we can do it in 7, but not 6. And those 6 are all... well, they're not all in the same direction, but... yeah, it's just... how do I get something to... I don't know. But okay. Let's then assume that instead of these three just, you know, being right beside each other, that instead I have one of these rotate clockwise in this case. Then it goes up. What if I then put a branch there? If I then put a branch there, what I'll get is another left and rightwards. So this brings out one into the right side of the left side of the portal, and the other one can go there. The other one can do a couple rotations. But with 3 rotations, it basically does the exact same thing. So it's more like this would give you a downwards, right? It does, and I think the same works if it's vertical. So I could put yet another branch there, and it basically brings one output plus something else. What if I then sent it down? The problem is if I did send it down, you have to be... well, we're just missing pieces at this point. We've used too many rotators, clockwise rotations. So more clockwise rotations wouldn't really work anymore. So at this point here, we have an upwards in this direction, and we have a rightward in this direction. Actually, doing this and this gives us one more, but The thing is that nothing actually goes down from the bottom of this thing, so nothing hits the bottom. And I think something could hit the bottom if I pushed these three up. And I, you know, put this down here. Yeah, but then we're missing the one that goes from the left. Because this only hits the top. Something can change though if I instead ended this off like so. Maybe this does a bottom, and then we just need one more that goes down there. So what I could then do is maybe somehow, you know, do another branch from the right side of this. I don't see how. What if, okay, well, what if I shifted this set over to the right by 1? Because that still works for both. Right? I can then just place this underneath this and that will hit the top. And then wouldn't something like this hit all 4? No. Why not? Oh, because this goes up and down now. I need another one down here to do anything. Right. This gives you that, but nothing goes below. And this goes below, but nothing goes to the right. It just doesn't feel like enough. It just does not feel like enough. Enough pieces. Enough rotations. What if I... What if I did this? That only hit 2, that won't actually hit from the bottom either. Yeah, because there's one right and one left that you need. Yeah, there's either way too many options or just I don't see it. Should I keep trying? Maybe. Does a single rotation help? I don't think a single rotation would help, because a single rotation basically just flips the puzzle 90 degrees and then solves it with a fewer number of resources. Right? Yeah, because the result has to be the same, but then you start off with an extra piece being used to rotate the initial beam, which you could have just fixed by rotating the entire setup 90 degrees first. So it starts off with a branch 100%, right? If it didn't start with a branch and started with a rotation, then once again you could just rotate the entire thing by 90 degrees. So it has to start with a branch is my hypothesis. This is what I postulate. Then from here, things can really branch out, no pun intended. If I had 2 branches, what could this bottom guy hit? The one that goes out the bottom? Like, there isn't really much it can hit. Because to hit anything, you need 3 rotators at least. Either that, or you somehow hit the bottom. You could somehow hit the bottom of a portal in 2. And actually, this might work if you went underneath the beam. So, a couple clockwise rotators under the beam should actually allow you to hit a portal that is on the left of the puzzle instead. Like that. Then I can solve the rest of the puzzle like this, hopefully. In fact, this is 2 clockwises, right? So one counterclockwise from the upwards beam of here should hit the left. It does. So now with the same number of resources, or is it less? With less resources, I still have to hit all of these. Well, I could do a branch here. No, because it breaks. Right, we need a straight vertical bottom here. So I think what can happen is I rotate it up, this beam. I rotate this up by going this way, and I do a branch. The problem is hit 3, but then The resources just aren't right to hit the last one from the top. Because even the top, you're gonna need 2 clockwises, I think. 3 clockwises, in fact. So like this doesn't get from the top either, actually. Hold on. Oh yeah, you need 3 clockwises. So how does one hit both the top and the bottom? I think that's the one thing I haven't been able to do yet. Hit both the top and bottom of the portal. How could you hit both the top and the bottom? If a portal requires a top and a bottom, right? What is the most ideal starting point? Is it a branch that splits up and down? Because then each side would only need 2 rotations, right? In fact, if you place this up and down, above one of the portals, then the down wouldn't need any rotations at all. But the one that points at the bottom will need 4 rotations as a result. And if you add another branch, then you're basically rotating even more. So in that case, you would then need 3 more rotations afterwards. So the more branches you have, the more rotation it does. So either you touch the top and the bottom instantly, which probably grants you the fewest number of resources used. Oh, that's not true. That is not true. Then maybe the best thing to do is to have a beam split into 2, with one that points down and one that points up. The only problem is that that's pretty tough. Okay, but you know what I do have? I have this. This, followed by another one of a similar kind, actually does allow you to point up, right? Yeah. So now we just need something that points right and something that points left. But that's also pretty tough, because how do you do that? How would I do that? I can do a branch with a rotation and that gets 3 out of 4. But the last one is just impossible looking. And whatever problem I said with the up and down applies similarly to the left and right. The only difference being that you start with a beam that points up already, which might affect, either one. So I don't know what's going on then. Okay, the simplest way I can think of hitting from the bottom is with 2 branches or 2 rotations, right? A straight line hitting the bottom would basically... Yeah, it has to be 2 branches, or 1 branch and 1 rotation. But suppose it were two branches. Oops. You would then, in this case, have one going left and one going down. What can the one going down do? If you were to hit a portal from the left or right, it would need 3 rotations. If it were from the top, it would need 4. So suppose it uses 3 to hit the left or the right. What with the left? The left can also hit the top of 3 rotations, but nothing will hit the right now. It can hit the right in 2. And actually, if it did hit the right in 2, the upwards beam from the one that hits the thing from above can actually branch. And then we will need... The problem is we will need 3 more, right? So, in this case, what I can see is... Whoa. Is 7 rotations required. But how do I reduce that value? The only way to reduce that value is by reusing rotators. And I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. I need to send something back in on itself, I think. So I can hit a rotator from a different direction. So let's say I were to do that, alright? The easiest way to do that is by having a loop of rotations. So let's say I have a branch that loops back on itself with 3 rotations. Unfortunately, this would cause it to basically point in the same direction. Same 2 directions. Which doesn't make any sense. A branch with 4 can... A branch with 4 rotations can basically hit the opposite side of where it came out. But this isn't very effective because it only gives you a new direction of like upwards. And I don't know how that would help because an upwards doesn't really do anything. I guess one thing you could do is just branches over and over again. Right. But I still don't see it. I really still don't see this one. I need to try having some form of loop. So let's say I form a loop. A loop is a minimum of 3 pieces. And at 4. But the problem of a loop being 3 pieces is that, you know, if I had something that looked like this, it will loop in on itself, but what else does it hit? I think a rotator has to be hit twice. Can I hit a rotator twice? Using branches? So... Guess is, I think so actually. So, what happens here is, if I did a little something that looked like a branch followed by, gosh, this is really tough to work with. A branch followed by, you know, a couple rotations upwards. So wait, no, hold on. Going one direction, going the other direction is not the same. So suppose I went in one direction, and the really only real direction I can go is one round clockwise, like so. And I'm gonna put everything in the center to not obstruct anything. What do we hit? I don't know what we hit, but basically we've made a round like this, and this goes down, and that's about all we've done, which isn't that useful. Yeah, I still don't understand. Is it really still a repointing puzzle? Yeah, I still think you need 7 rotations, but we only have 6. 7 rotations and 3 branches, basically. But again, we only have 6, so I don't actually know how we could fix this. Besides forming the loopy thing. It just doesn't feel doable. I don't want to think about how to form a loop that, you know, points in all directions, basically, but yeah. Even if it was not the right 6 directions, I still need to find a solution that works with 6 directions first. Because if I can't find that, I couldn't alter that solution to give me one that actually does work. Yeah, every single time I try to do it, it gives me 7 rotations, and I think there's a reason why this doesn't work. I think there's a reason why this doesn't work. And I don't know if I can prove it, but starting from the bottom, to hit all 4, let's say you have 1 pointing up, right? You always need to rotate either 0, 1, 2, or 3 times to point left, right, up, or down. And that is true for all directions. So we can almost phrase this sort of problem as like a mod 4 problem. How many rotations does it take for upward pointing to become downward pointing? It takes 2. For an upward pointing to take left or right, actually is 1 in either clockwise or anti-clockwise directions, which means the total number of rotations actually hits a 0 mod 4. But the problem is we have 9 objects, which, if you look at the branches as 2 rotations, 1 in each direction, can form a total of 6 plus 4, which is 10, which is 2 mod 4 rotations. With 7 rotations, you actually... Is that 11? Is that 11 or 12? So, like, looking at a solution of 7 rotations... Looking at a solution of 7 rotations... let's see how many rotations there are. In terms of... Okay, well, I guess it's not really 0 mod 4, mine is 2 rotations in any given direction, because the rotation that would lead to a rightward direction and the rotation would lead to a leftward direction cancel each other out. No matter what, they always cancel each other out. So to go from up to down is 2 rotations in any direction, which must be the same. Whereas it is not otherwise. But that seems to work for our 10 rotations. Although if you look at our 10 rotations, what we have is 4 in one direction, 2 in another direction, plus 2 more in each plus 3 more in each direction given by the branches, which gives you 7 in one direction and 5 in the other. 5 and 7 will cancel out, which will give you a total of 2 in a certain direction, which actually seems to work. So all the directions pointed right now, if used once each, give you a net 2 rotation in a certain direction. But with the 7 rotations, it seems like I'm somehow using 1 more rotation than necessary, even though I'm getting the exact same result, and I don't know why. So let's see here. Every branch gives you a rotation in both directions. So a branch can be considered to be 0 rotations. Okay. So looking at this one solution I have here, we have 1 clockwise, 2 clockwise, plus 5 anti-clockwise, which doesn't make sense. We have 2 clockwise rotations and 5 anti-clockwise rotations, give a total net of 3 rotations in one direction. But how did that happen? Where did we waste a rotation in this case? I'm not sure where I wasted location rotation here. And how it's even possible to form a result like this. Maybe my math is just wrong. I don't know. Why is it 7? If I looked at another solution for 7, it's actually 7 clockwise. And 7 clockwise is 3 mod 4. So 7 clockwise rotations is equivalent to 3 clockwise rotations if you have 4 clockwise rotations cancelling out. Because 4 clockwise rotations basically the same thing. So it just seems like whatever I try to do is 7 rotations or 3 rotations that gets me to my answer. Why though? If I were to look at what actually happens here, starting from an upward direction, I can attribute each rotation to something. So I can attribute a clockwise rotation to get from up direction to a right direction, right? So to face right, it is 1 rotation in my solution. To face down, what I actually had to do was rotate clockwise 3 times after rotating anti-clockwise 1, so that's a net of 2. And we're gonna discount all that from the one that faces left, which means it's the same, it's another 2. And then for the from up to up, it's 4, I think. Is it? Or is it actually 2 also? It's also 2. That's how we get 7. 1, 2, 2, 2. But only because I started from up. Oh, okay. So I'm only counting this because I'm assuming every beam starts from a downward position, which is not valid. Because, you know, some of them start upwards. So suppose I want to hit mod 6 as much as possible, right? I should be hitting as many cancels out, I think. So one possible way of cancelling out is a leftward rotation plus a rightward rotation on its own. So that's a cancel out for the upwards. Is that enough? I don't think so. I still think we're short because this upwards doesn't fix anything. Yeah, it's still 7 rotations. Okay, it's 7 rotations, but I guess 7 rotations in a different way. Somewhere I transfer a rotation to go from up to up into a rotation to go from up to like right or something. So, I mean, starting with an up, right? If I branch, I go left and right. And that's 1 rotation in each direction. It's the easiest from here to go right, to go up or down again, because that only requires 1 rotation. Either that, or 0 rotations to go left or right. Let's say, actually, let's say I try something different. Hmm. I guess another thing that's also happening at the moment is that every time I try to split, right, one of the branches, if I try to have one of the branches go in, the other branches will always face away. So maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe instead I want to make it so that branches always equalize. Maybe. Is that true? That's a lot of rotations. Too bad up and down is really inconvenient as a branch. In fact, from a branch, right, to hit any two sides at all, you always need at least 3 rotations, I think. Starting from a branch. You always need 3 rotations. Right, so if that's the case, and I say at least 3, why not branch into a few more branches first, and have those branches converge somewhere? That took me 8 rotations, which is a lot more than required. 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah. 8 rotations doesn't feel right. Okay. It's something doesn't feel right. Hmm. Well, okay, hold on. I might be seeing something here. If I had a branch that branches into another branch first, then I can have the top rotate into a portal like so. The other can just continuously rotate into the previously rotated thing. So like this. Am I doing that? You actually just did 2 connections. One to the right and one to the bottom. The only issue is how can the remaining things hit everything else? I think that is not possible. Unless the remaining things keep messing with whatever I've already built on the right by sending in more signals randomly. But still doesn't really feel very helpful. Hmm. I want to go back there. How do I get a branch to enter itself again? It's 4, right? Yeah, that's how I got 4. That's really weird. I'm gonna have to look up for this one because I am just not gonna figure this out properly in time. Legitimately, I am not figuring this out. I'm not sure if it's because I'm too scared to make any assumptions here or what. But my goodness. Why, wait, hold on. Who made the ability? Is this self-coded? Because it really looks like they just coded something to help draw out lines. I don't know. Okay, so they didn't do any rebranching. They just managed to do it in 6 rotations. Or 9. Oh, I said 10 rotations worked. And I was right, which is why 7 was always the one that seemed to work. But we're looking for 9 as a solution here. Which is why I'm never finding an answer. I think something's wrong with my math here. But I don't get how or why that would work opposed to any other thing. But I guess it does, somehow. It looks like this was the longest puzzle they spent their time on too, which is kind of crazy. But at this point, I have probably already given up. So I am just going to put the answer here. I'm so sorry if this was not intended, but I don't even think my brain wants to bother figuring this out anymore. So this gives you 2 and then the rest can give the rest of the puzzle solution. Yeah, that's just it then. And the way this works is that this goes up here, splits into 2. The one to the right solves it, the one to the left actually takes 1 turn around and solves that. I feel like that's the most efficient, but I don't know why I didn't manage to see this as a setup that works. I don't know what prevented me from seeing this as a setup that works. Maybe it's because whenever I put 2 branches together, I always put a 3rd branch beside it, and that's why nothing seemed to work out. But maybe that's just an assumption I made wrongly. So this one then splits, the one above goes round, the one goes down, rotates and splits again. The one that goes up goes in, the one that rotates bends around and goes in. So yeah, there it is. Okay. So now it looks like we have to hit this and this and this and this. I might try doing this next episode, honestly. Or at the very least, just ending off the episode here because I think we're running out of time. Alright, so with that, I think I'm going to end the video here. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.